So as teachers, when you're teaching pranayama, it's really important to help cultivate your students' relationship with pranayama and not to misunderstand pranayama as a chance to control the mind. I think here in this country, in the Western world, we have developed things like mindfulness and pranayama to have more control over our thoughts. So one of the ways that I address this with my students is by teaching them about the three layers of the mind: the narrative mind, the one telling the story about oneself; the intelligence mind, that part that can actually practice mindfulness, it has a capacity for that; and then this larger love, sometimes called the abiding presence or the benevolent presence mind. So these three things are referred to in this session as the seer, that larger presence; the seeing, the act of seeing, chaperoning, ushering, stewarding; and then the seen, that which is being seen. If we understand these three aspects of the mind and our capacity as a human, as a yoga teacher, we're not going to be limited in terms of talking about pranayama as a way to control our thoughts, but actually, pranayama is a gateway to that larger love, that larger love. Now, to get there, we can look at the classical translation of the word pranayama, which means to restrain or to control, classically translated. Let's think of it as sculpting the experience of prana to support the mind to realize that larger presence to which we are all connected and from which we have never been separated. So with that in mind, dive into the practice. Let me know if you have any questions or comments at the end of the practice. And as always, it's helpful if you click like for videos that work well for you and subscribe to the channel. Okay, this is a pranayama practice designed for you to help your students begin to explore exhale suspension and also to use their inhale suspension wisely and well. Okay, enjoy your time. Namaste. For practice, I'm glad to see you. We're going to be focusing again in pranayama and then the inner subtle body of yoga. So let's start with a comfortable seat, please. You can rest your hands in your lap or maybe on your heart if you feel. You're welcome to close your eyes. Lift the base of your skull so your attention kind of drops down as the base of the skull goes up. Our gaze is inclined to go down in towards the heart. Allow your attention to drop down also into your physical body. You might choose a low place of connection to the ground beneath you. For example, your feet or your seat, I like to say. But if you need something more subtle than that, right, if that is a helpful place to go, it's in the dense physical body. It's tangible, it's happening in the present moment, and it helps a very busy mind to find a place to get grounded. But sometimes as we mature in our practice, we need a place that's more subtle for the quality of mind that moves towards sattva. So in that case, you might choose to focus your attention at the place where the inhale and the exhale begin and end, down low in the pelvic basin. And you can picture that both inhale and exhale begin and end in the same spot. And though it seems that the breath then moves through the body as it does, our mind can stay at that one place, the beginning of the inhale, the ending of the exhale, or what you might think of as the momentary exhale pause. It is a sort of quickly maturing practice. That means that it moves your practice along expediently. If you can rest your mind at that spot, not actually even following the sensations of the breath. So inhale and exhale will happen, but the mind The narrative mind can rest there, in that one small geographical location. As a place to rest your thinking mind or your narrative mind. Now let that sustain to the best of your ability and begin deepening your breathing using the Ujjayi breath, that you can sense the inhale gets longer, the exhale longer and slower. At the same time, the breath becomes a little bit more full, including lower, middle, and upper regions of the torso. And as you're practicing Ujjayi like this, keep your narrative thinking mind, the monkey mind, resting at that one place in the low abdomen. And you can kind of use your wise mind or your chaperoning mind to support the Ujjayi breath rising and moving. So there are two aspects of mind there. In yoga, one of those is called ahankara, means the ego mind, what I'm referring to as narrative mind. And the other is called the buddhi, that is the mind of intelligence, right? Which we can think of as our wise mind, or right now, our chaperoning, witnessing, kind of stewarding mind. And there is a third thing I'd like you to consider, and that is the presence that is watching you make this effort, like the loving presence that sees you arriving on your yoga mat, keeping this commitment, making this effort. Notice what happens for you mentally, physically, when you sense that larger love, we could call it. At the end of your next Ujjayi exhale, go ahead and release the breath. Even though it was a subtle practice, release it. And please bring your hands together at your heart. We'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and release your hands, and you're welcome to quietly open your eyes. So these three things, as I was referring to, one I'm calling the narrative mind. In classical yoga, it's called the ahankara, or the ego mind. It's important to have a healthy ego, so we're not trying to obliterate that. The second thing I was referring to is your witness or chaperoning mind, the mind that knows that meddling with your breath practice is probably not that helpful, but cultivating and maintaining steadiness and clarity is more helpful. That's called your buddhi, that part of the mind. And then I referred to this third thing, that loving presence that is observing you, making this effort, this kind of seeing you. Like I often thought of my grandfather after he passed away when I was quite young. I thought, oh, he's somewhere in this thing people close to me call heaven, and he went to see God. This is how I was told. So I actually interpreted that as my grandfather had to go take God's job and become God. So that was a wonderful way to have a relationship with my grandfather and God. But it was a sense of like this benevolent, loving presence that would have always wanted the best for me. So that thing we can refer to as the Atman, or the larger presence. You might think of it as the seer, that which is seeing through you and looking at that which is being seen. So what is being seen? The narrative mind is practicing getting still and grounded in one place so that the seeing can occur and you are seeing something, the place where the inhale and exhale begin and end. To have that kind of seeing, the narrative mind has to stop bouncing around. It cannot just be going lily pad to lily pad, like a frog like that. So the seer, the seeing, and the seen. That's the phrase from the Bhagavad Gita. You are the seer, the seeing, and the seen. Now, most of us in daily life, when it comes to something like mindfulness, we're being trained on how to help the narrative mind take a seat and be less bothersome, which is great. But notice what happens when in our practice just now, for a couple of minutes, you also move to, the seer. What happens to us biochemically, neurologically, mentally, in the heart, right? There's a larger sense there. And so it's very important to have this narrative mind get grounded. Of course, spend time there, but don't forget to spend time recognizing that larger presence. It has a very powerful effect for your brain, which is to say then your mind, your body, your health, your relationships. So with that in mind, pranayama is a practice to help us get this thing grounded, to cultivate that chaperoning, and then to sense that presence. So take a seat again. If you have adjusted your seat, go ahead and come back to the seat that's upright for you. And I'm going to suggest that you put your hands out over your knees so that they are taut. Okay, and then pull up through the crown of your skull. Set the shoulders back a little bit. Go ahead and close your eyes. With your inhale, rotate your nose to the right, turn your whole head. The exhale, rotate to your left. Inhale, rotate right. And notice if you keep the body taut, so you're reaching up through the crown of the skull like the pole of the circus tent. And as you move your head side to side, you may have a variety of sensations up and down the sides of your neck. Of course, it won't surprise you that some of those sensations reflect mental tension. And mental tension can not only be solved by having mindfulness of the object of attention, but mental tension, I think, is more quickly resolved when we remember that larger presence. We'll go one more time to the left. Rotate back to center. Keeping your arms taut. On the inhale, lift your heart, lift your collarbones, open your throat. On your exhale, bring your chin down towards the lower base of the throat and then curl down. And then inhale and roll up. So it's kind of like doing cat-cow and mostly the upper thoracic and cervical spine. And exhale, chin, roll it down slowly towards the base of the throat. And then round the upper back. And inhale to lift again. So concentrate this extension and flexion into your thoracic and cervical spine, and especially to your upper and mid-thoracic spine. And do that twice more, please. Okay, and last one. And then take a seat and relax your arms. You could even do palms face up now, which is a gesture of surrender. Release the pranayama and see if you can take your mind kind of immediately to that larger presence. And that was a simple stretching, breathing, synchronizing practice. Let's take another step in the process here. So as you're sitting, interlace your fingers. One thing to note is that when the hands go behind your head, you're going to have the pinkies at the base of the skull, at the occipital ridge right there. And so you are going to be supporting the base of the skull that way. Okay, let's inhale, push forward and round your thoracic spine. Ujjayi, exhale, draw in, lift your chest, squeeze the upper back. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, draw in, squeeze the upper back. Inhale, press up and look up. Exhale, bring your chin down towards your throat. Inhale, lift up and look up. Exhale, bring your chin down towards your throat. Now once more, inhale, lift up and look up. This time, exhale, bring your hands down at the base of your skull at the occipital ridge. And then inhale, bring the elbows forward and lift up and look up. Exhale, elbows wide, bring your chin down towards your throat. Inhale, elbows forward, lift up, look up. Exhale, elbows wide, squeeze the upper back, bring your chin towards your throat. Inhale, press your arms up, lift up and look up. And exhale, press your arms wide as you come down at the small of your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, place your knuckles on the floor behind you or on a blanket or a block and look up. Exhale, bring only your chin down towards your throat. Inhale, lift up and look up. Exhale, chin down towards the center of your throat. And one more time, inhale, lift up and look up. And then Ujjayi, exhale, release your hands to your lap. Let's do palms face up. Close your eyes. Deeply relax and sense that larger presence. You might notice that there's energy moving in the head, throat, neck region. So we're in Vyanavayu, Udanavayu, Pranavayu. We're going to drop down into some Apanavayu practices. So right now we'll do 10 strong breath cycles, activating the lower abdomen for inhale, exhale very strongly. You can think of them not as Kapalabhati, but more like a Bhastrika, like a bellows. So like this. Now inhale from the lower, middle to the upper torso and hold the breath for a few moments. Release the bandhas and exhale slowly. Exhale completely. And then rest at the bottom of that. So the in-breath that follows those 10 strong breath cycles should be slow and thoughtful. It'll probably be a relatively large inhale. And then you'll hold that with the bandhas. So let's repeat. Inhale slow. Release the bandhas and exhale slowly and thoughtfully. At the bottom of the exhale, consider not inhaling. And of course, then inhale when you're ready to. Okay, now as you're sitting cross-legged and I am sitting on a physio ball, I have a support in front of me. You're going to want a support in front of you. That could be the floor. It could be a block on the floor. So we're going to be bowing forward to touch the head to something. And in that touching your head, when it's supported there, when we finish the exhale, we'll have squeezed the lower belly. And then we're going to relax the low belly without inhaling. There'll be an internal suction that happens to the body. My hope is that it's very quieting to you. And then you're going to tone the belly before you inhale to come back up. Okay, so on the way down, you're squeezing without inhaling. We relax the exhale muscles, and by that, All three bandhas will come in a subtle form. Don't exaggerate it. Let it be subtle. Then tone the belly before you inhale to come back up. But place your hands at the small of your back. Let's place the head so you're in Jalandhara Bandha to start. And we're going to inhale, lower, middle, upper, slowly, without any interruptions. And then exhale, come slowly forward, squeezing the breath out. And then relax the exhale muscles. Tone the belly when you're ready to. Inhale, rise up to sitting. And you might exhale and then relax, right? Not having anything important to do, right? Or you can go directly to the next breath cycle. So that was one round. Let's do 4 times, please. At your own pace, you might have one more time to do. And when you rise back up to your seat, you can rest your hands in your lap. You might do palms face up, a reminder that you're kind of surrendering and listening for that larger presence. Now we'll complete with a simple form of Nadi Shodhana. We're going to inhale, whatever length that is. And you might have noticed this during the pranayama we were just doing, which is called Kormasana or Korma Mudra. You may have found that your inhale and exhale started to equal out. Perhaps the exhale pause was also equal to that. I didn't direct it because I don't want you to become overly efforted, right? Where the chaperoning mind gets usurped by your narrative mind, thinking, I better keep up, other kids are doing it, whatever your thoughts are, or I did it yesterday, I should be able to do it today. So I want you to kindly keep that narrative mind grounded and centered, and then chaperone the possibility now of inhale left, suspension, exhale right, inhale right, suspension, exhale left. So it's an upside down triangle. Means that the inhale suspension in Nadi Shodhana is equal to the inhale and the exhale length, if possible, right? Don't force it, but listen for the possibility of it. Okay, so bring your right hand up. Let's close the right nostril to begin with inhale left. There's no ujjayi in Nadi Shodhana. It is simply Nadi Shodhana. Remind yourself that during the inhale suspension, you are using all three bandhas, but you don't need to be extreme. You don't have to create additional extra pressure. You're suspending and then exhale slowly. For anyone for whom you'd like to make the practice to the next step of elegance or maturity, you can partially close the nostril through which you're breathing. That is going to further slow down inhale and exhale. You may have to be thoughtful about the length of your inhale suspension if you add that little constriction to the nostril in the practice. At the end of your next exhale through the left nostril, then go ahead and rest quietly. You can do palms face up again. Listen for that larger presence. You might also consider not really breathing. When meditation feels natural, we call it sahaj, the naturalness of the meditative state. Thank you for sharing this kind of practice. Let's come up to standing, and I'm going to transition myself backwards. Welcome for the standing practice. We're going to be integrating the synchronicity of the inhale, exhale, and different movements for upper back and thoracic flexibility on behalf of things like practicing your exhale suspension comfortably. So take a wide stance, given whatever real estate your pets allow you to have on your yoga mat. Go ahead and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. Place your hands on the floor or on a couple of blocks. Now, on the inhale, let's raise up to the fingertips, please, and bring your chest and heart forward. Open your throat. And then exhale and curl your torso down like you're doing cat pose. Inhale, roll the spine forward, raise up to your fingertips, open your throat. And follow your exhale breath using the Ujjayi breath. Follow your exhale all the way down to a complete squeeze. And then inhale, glide forward. And one more time, exhale, curl down. Okay, place your hands now directly under your shoulders, whether they're on the floor or on blocks, and keeping your left hand grounded. On your inhale, sweep your right arm forward. Exhale, right arm out to the side. Okay, inhale, twist to your right. Exhale, wrap your right arm around the small of your back, turn your head down towards the floor. Inhale, twist to your right. And exhale to release. Okay, we're going to repeat that the same side. So let's do the best you can to keep your hips stable. So the movement is coming from your spine, especially from your thoracic spine. Okay, so inhale, reach forward. Exhale out to the side, palm face down. Inhale, open to your right. Exhale, turn your gaze down, wrap your right arm around the small of your back, level your hips. Inhale, twist right. Turn your head, open the shoulder and your chest. And exhale to release. Back to your starting position. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, right arm forward. Exhale to the side like an airplane. Inhale, twist, open. Exhale, wrap your arm, rotate your head down. Level your hips and inhale, twist right. And then exhale to release. Let's do the other side. So place your right hand firmly, strengthen your right arm. Inhale, left arm forward. Exhale out to the side. With your inhale, open to your left. Exhale, wrap your left arm around, turn your gaze down towards the floor. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, return. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale to the side, keeping your hips level. With your next inhale, twist left. Exhale, wrap your left arm, gaze down. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, return. Place your left palm flat. We'll do it one more time. So breathing in, left arm forward. Exhale, left arm to the side. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, left arm down behind your back. Turn your gaze down towards the floor. With your hips level, inhale, twist left. And then exhale to release. Now, as you come down, reach back to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. And now we call this unsupported. The word for that is niralambaya. So as you inhale, bring your chest and heart forward. And then exhale and bow towards your legs and keep the shoulders moving away from your ears so the neck is long. Inhale, glide forward, lift your chest and your heart, open your throat, keep the legs strong, and exhale, bow towards your legs. Squeeze the exhale out. Again, inhale, glide forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards your legs. Okay, let's inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, release the clasp of your hands and let your body and your mind relax. Okay, let's get 2 blocks from the shelf. For those who, I prefer my blocks for triangle pose, the way that we're going to do it. So go ahead and get 2 blocks, 1 for each side. I'm going to put mine on the tall setting. Do not put it on your glasses. Okay, rise up to standing. Let me just tie my hair off of my face. It makes it easier for my sensory threshold. With a brain injury, I have to manage my sensory threshold. You got to manage yours too, by the way, not just those of us who have brain injuries. Okay, so with this wide stance, we're going to be going to the right side. We'll do similar arm movements. So what we're looking at is, up overhead, out to the side, around the back. Each one of those is going to affect your thoracic spine a little bit differently. So take the left heel slightly out, right toes to the right. I'm going to recommend that your block is on the inside and it's close enough that you don't have to look for it. Okay? Join your palms together at your heart. Inhale, sweep your arms wide. Okay, exhale, look to your left as you come down to your right. Inhale, left arm all the way past your ear. Now exhale, rotate your head down towards the floor and wrap your left arm around behind the small of your back. Inhale, twist to your left. And then exhale, rise up to standing, looking to your left. Okay, inhale, sweep the arms wide. Exhale down to your right while looking to your left. Inhale, left arm past your left ear. Exhale, gaze down as you circle your left arm around the small of your back. Inhale, twist to your left. Exhale, rise up to standing while gazing left. Inhale, sweep your left arm out to the side. And once more, exhale to come down. Inhale, sweep your left arm past your ear. Exhale, gaze down and wrap your left arm around behind the small of your back. And let's inhale, twist to the left, open your left shoulder, rotate your head. And exhale, rise up to stand. Inhale, sweep your left arm out and relax both arms. So part of that is moving through the circulation. It's through the lymph system as well. I should not leave that out. And turning. And some of that is synchronizing the breath and the body, synchronizing so that your narrative mind, your thinking hamster wheel mind, has a place to be. And then your witness chaperoning conductor mind, the conductor of the orchestra. My sister's a conductor, my twin sister. The conductor of the orchestra is that part chaperoning the synchronicity of the breath and the body. Okay, so let's do the second side. So inhale, sweep your arms wide, gaze to your right. Exhale, come down to your left. Okay, inhale, sweep your right arm past your right ear. Exhale, rotate your right arm, big circle as you gaze down. Inhale, twist to your right. Exhale, rise up to center, gazing to your right. Inhale, sweep your right arm out. Exhale, down to your left while looking to your right. Inhale, sweep your arm past your ear. Keep the right outer hip and outer heel stable. Exhale, wrap your right arm around as you gaze down. Inhale, twist to your right. Exhale, root from your lower belly into your feet to rise up. Inhale, sweep the right arm out. Exhale, come down while looking to your right. Inhale. Exhale, rotate your head and your arm, big circles. And inhale to roll open. Exhale, rise up while you're gazing to your right. Inhale, sweep the right arm out. And exhale. Let's go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe into mountain pose. And pause to notice how things are feeling right there. And try to sense now your narrative mind might notice your footprints on the ground. The witnessing mind is able to support a connection between that sensation and your awareness of the larger presence. Okay, let's place the two blocks also on the tall setting for a portion of the sun salutation using Anjane Asana. So go ahead and place them at the top of your mat. I'm often at risk of knocking that over, so I'll put it over to the side. Okay, let's place the right foot forward and the left foot back in Anjaneyasana, please. Like this. And these two blocks, you're going to bring them back alongside your hips. So when you place the right foot, it's okay for your knee to be over the toes there, but do keep your heel grounded. Press down into your fingertips, roll the chest and heart and shoulders open. Lift up, and you might start looking up. So the pressure of your fingertips and your thumbs down against these tall blocks is to help you to lift your heart and the inner body. Roll your shoulders back. And my hope is that your head is really comfortably able to be here, that the neck and throat feel warmed up enough, and that your thoracic spine lifts so your head is not just creasing at the base of the skull to drop back. It is a curve of the whole spine. Press down into your fingertips and your thumbs consistently. And then exhale and bring yourself forward. Place the blocks on the medium setting. You can put your thumbs on the inside, 3 fingers on the outside of the block, and let's step into the basic lunge and then reach back to downward facing dog pose. Okay, exhale, left foot forward, right knee down, hip your blocks to the tall setting. Press down against the blocks and just think of it like a fern, uncurling. You don't have to be in a hurry. So as you're rooting down, including press into your right knee, but as you root down, think of the lift of the inner body. Roll the shoulders back so your heart stays up. You feel like the collarbones are getting wider. And then follow your exhale, tip the blocks down to the medium setting. And inhale, straighten your right leg. Step back to dog pose. Okay, exhale, right foot forward. Tip the blocks up. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward. Tip the blocks. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, release the blocks down. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, right foot forward. Tip the blocks. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale. At your own timing, inhale to downward dog pose. And exhale, left foot forward. Of course, in your own timing, again, inhale, Anjaneyasana. And exhale to release. This time when you step back to dog pose, pause here, take a full breath cycle. And then exhale, bring your right foot forward, pivot your left heel down, come to your fingertips and open to triangle pose. Now do this as the triangle pose that you might have learned when you were a beginner in yoga. So it's your basic triangle pose. Strengthen your left outer hip down into your left outer heel. And then as you inhale, sweep your left arm past your left ear. Exhale, bend your right knee so the pose becomes side angle pose. And then exhale, touch your fingertips back down to your blocks. Please step backwards, downward facing dog pose. And exhale, left foot forward. Pivot your right heel, come up to your fingertips, and turn to triangle pose. Like your friendly beginner's triangle pose. Like 30 years ago. So as you root into the right outer hip and down to your right outer heel, we hope that the rotation of your chest and heart and throat right now is pretty easeful because you're remembering yourself 30 years ago. You were younger, more flexible, but also because we did the warm-ups, right? So reaching up with your inhale. With your next inhale, sweep your right arm past your ear. And then exhale, bend your left knee so it becomes side angle pose. Hi, Nakula. And exhale, release down. And step forward. And come down to sitting cross-legged. I was going to sit there, honey. I was. Yeah, right there. Come down to sitting cross-legged, please. Okay, when you sit cross-legged, you've got your two blocks nearby. Keep them nearby. Cross your ankles. Place your palms firmly on your two blocks. And as you inhale, push down to lift your hips up. Exhale, touch your hips down. Try that again. Inhale, push down to go up with your torso. The ankles can stay on the floor. Your hips are lifting off the floor. Exhale, touch down. Okay, inhale, boat pose. Exhale, change the cross of your ankles, watching out for your cat or the cat's tail. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, boat pose. Exhale, cross the ankles, come down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. One more time, inhale to boat pose. Exhale, cross your ankles. Press down, inhale to go up. And exhale, lower your hips down. Okay, rest your hands in your lap. Let the narrative mind find a place to be grounded. So that might be your sitting bones. And the witness mind might notice things like, oh, there's the subtlety of the breath. Release both of those and travel to that larger presence. You know, while you're sitting, I'd like us to do something, one more thing, and it's in harmony with the sequence. It's also relatively intermediate to advanced. So I'm going to ask you to take a seat that's upright. Let me get my blanket. You will need your two blocks for where we're going to go, but let's take a seat for a moment, and I won't leave out Shavasana. I don't want to leave out your Shavasana. But take a seat like this, or whatever's most comfortable for you. And then come into the quietude you know yourself to be capable of. And using the Ujjayi breath, start leveling your inhale with your exhale. And I'm going to ask you to imagine the Ujjayi, first third, middle third, upper third. You're not leaving anything out. And when you process your exhale, slow down just the first portion of the exhale. And at the end of the exhale, consider not inhaling. So I'm saying it that way on purpose. Deeply relax the exhale muscles without any inhalation. Consider pausing there in a quiet kind of suspension. Don't exaggerate it, don't make it bigger. And then tone the belly before you inhale. Don't make yourself breathless so that you're able to do perhaps 3 cycles in a row like this. And then release that practice when you're complete. Something that you likely discovered is that we need the chaperoning mind to help when the narrative mind becomes more aggressive, or it's like pursuing the pranayama versus experiencing the pranayama. If you find yourself feeling breathless anywhere in the process, it means you're doing too much, you're working too long, or your tolerance for O2, CO2 balances and imbalances is not yet that high. And so we would go back to earlier stages of pranayama. You wouldn't keep doggedly working here. You might have a more brief exhale suspension versus a longer one. And this is just a mild version of exhale suspension. We're not doing a full Uddiyana Bandha there. And so noticing that, let's now come onto your back, please. This is on the way to exhale suspension and on the way to what I hope is going to be a quieting experience of your Shavasana. So please lie back with your 2 blocks. Now you can always adapt and just use 1 block for this on the flat or the medium. So I'm going to use 2 blocks on the flat setting. This is called supported bridge pose. And you should always choose the height of the blocks according to your comfort level. Don't get your clothing caught. Here we go. Okay, so you do want to tuck the shoulders under. It should feel like they're firmly fixed to the floor. Lengthen the back of your neck. And then in bridge pose, begin your relationship again with Ujjayi. So you can sense the whispering sound of the breath. It should not be compromised by the shape of the throat.
And then next thing to see to is that you can have your inhale first third, middle third, the upper third of the breath. And that's a place that some of you will have to make a little extra focus. So first, middle, and upper. And then you're going to follow the exhale, just calmly proceeding towards the exhale pause. And in the exhale pause, consider not inhaling. You're going to relax the exhale muscles and just very, very briefly consider not inhaling. And the vacuum that happens in the inner belly is going to be like a hollowing sort of sensation. And then you'll tone the muscles and inhale again. When you complete the next round, then press into your heels or your toes. Lift your hips. Let's put the two blocks aside, near enough that you can then come down with your hips. Place the soles of the feet together. Support your knees. You can cover with a blanket if you'd like to. Now, when you first come down, get comfy. And then in this position, place your hands on your lower abdomen. Let's do just in a very relaxed manner. One more time. An inhale, could be a brief inhale. Exhale, and then check the exhale pause. And then you'll tone the abdomen, of course, before you inhale. We're just checking that there because it's a whole different shape, and you can feel the difference in the different positions as we will continue exploring this over the next month or so in the spring here in the Kapha season. So now I'd like you to relax in your Shavasana and let yourself really settle in. We won't need a very long Shavasana because we've tended to the systems in hopefully in nourishing ways. So when you rest in the Shavasana, give your narrative mind a place to land. Could be that place in the deep abdomen where the inhale and the exhale begin and end. And use your chaperoning mind to help the narrative mind stay steady there. Keep resting your narrative mind in one simple space. And your chaperoning mind can help the narrative mind to rest right there. Allow the process to continue for one more minute. And during this minute, let's rest awareness on that larger presence. You may slightly wiggle your fingers, your toes. Raise the knees up to center. Put the blocks aside. Roll to your side, please. Have a seat.
When you return to your seat, sit upright and quietly enough to sense the larger presence is not separate from you. Nor is it separate from anyone else. Nor is it separate from anything else. Thank you for sharing your practice. You may raise your hands to your heart. So we spend time in the practice and we reference this larger presence. We are not just referencing it for the time that you're on your mat. This connection that we recreate, that we remember, this is the smriti, the remembrance. It is recommended to go about the day without forgetting. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with us. So before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe to the channel. Click like for any videos that work well for you. I do take that as feedback. And then leave comments or questions down below. I look forward to hearing from you. Namaste.